Greetings, everybody. Hold on just this. I think we're good. Hope everyone is doing well this Friday evening. Here's to you. We will wait for some folks to get on, and of course, SoSharpDavid. Hey, Mick, how you doing? Justin, good to see you, my friend. Raza, Rovanelli, thank you. I really appreciate it, everybody. Let me see if SoSharpDavid is available. Give me just one moment. Hello, Shady. Good to see you. Let's see. SoSharpDavid. Let's get it going here with Mr. Gonzalez. Hope everybody's doing well. Hello, Colombian Shaves. Hello, Justin. And if I'm missing folks, I apologize. There he is.
What up, Chris?
Howdy. How's it going this evening?
Oh, it's going great. Thank you for asking. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing phenomenal, as always. It's good to be alive and breathing and Rona-free. So we'll say here's to that.
Absolutely.
What are you drinking for beverage this evening?
Well, even though I have it in my sippy cup, I actually threw in one of these Bottle Logic stouts.
Audio. Nice.
This one is a hazelnut berry stout.
Hazelnut. Ooh, you're going to really anger some people with that. Hey,
so
Reed,
it's
Carlitos.
fantastic. Sass Shaver, how's it going?
Dave is here, the Fonz. Let's see, Daniel, hello, good to see you. So let's start off today by, I don't think he's here yet. There's MTB. Hello, MTB, good to see you. That's Marion the Barbarian. Whiskey, Wet Shaving, all kinds of people. So we start off today by congratulating the great Ken Klitschko, Shave 326, for hitting 700 subscribers pretty quickly. I don't think he's here yet, but I think that's wonderful. He's putting in the work. He makes content. He makes interesting content, and he also is interactive in the community. So he's just sort of doing things that brings about that kind of success. Not everybody enjoys the same level of success, and that happens in every walk of life. There's plenty of people that enjoy far more than me, and I'm always happy for them. And so I'm happy for Ken's rapid growth there. I think Junior, the dude of shaving, earlier said he hit 700 in 2 months, which is a little bit of a stretch, but you know, it's fun. Any words for Ken Klitschko?
Just congratulations, Ken, man. He's worked his ass off. You know the type of grind it is to release videos every day, and that's what he's doing. So the subscribers, the following that he's getting, the impact that he's having on the community is well deserved.
That's true. And so I hope everybody will please congratulate Ken Klitschko. Now, one of the things I want to mention is we will be giving away one of these knots. Not the handle, this is a Craving handle, but this knot is a hand-tied knot from Strike Gold Shave, and we had a contest ongoing to name this knot. So we'll solicit some names from you folks during the live here and ask you what you think of some of the names that we picked. But anyway, I've been using this knot, and you know I'm not a Badger guy, and I like it. We'll talk more about this later, but I just wanted to let you know we will be giving one of these knots away courtesy of Strike Gold Shave. So please stay tuned for that. So the first topic is one you may not care much about, but I figured I would bring it up because I've been seeing this a lot. It seems like every time someone receives a Saponificio Veracino aftershave or whatever, it's dented. Like there's a big dent in the middle of the, and those things are pretty expensive. And for me, my thoughts are across everything in life, scratch and dent comes at a discount or should come at a discount. So for example, if you go to Lowe's and you go to scratch and dent place, you'll get a better deal on a scratch and dent refrigerator or whatever. Or let me put it another way. If you go into a supermarket or a big box store and you go to get something and the box is all mangled, what do? You set that to the side and you reach for the one behind it that isn't mangled. So I know people, when they talk about, I don't care about scratches and dents, they don't. But normally when you go places and buy things, you try to buy something that looks good because you don't want it to be dented and banged up. And every time I see one of those, I'm like, man, they're paying good money for those aftershaves, and it's got a big dent right on the I don't know. Does that bother you at all? Do you not care, or do you think they ought to
It
get a
actually,
discount?
well, it absolutely does bother me. And forget the discount. I would really just love to see the damn maker switch their packaging. It's industry standard nowadays to have a plastic jar. It's just that simple. Nobody's recycling these damn things, regardless what it is. Nobody's gonna recycle that fucking tin or whatever it is. Get plastic jars, please. They're durable. They're easy to use. They're easy to reuse if we want to use them in our own homes, and they last
Gotcha.
forever. These tin ones are shitty.
Yeah, these I think are aftershaves that they're taking out. Like I think they're putting them in some kind of a tin tube or something. And when I'm seeing them, they're coming out dented, and I don't think they're inexpensive. And it's probably because they're traveling from Italy and they're just not in some way adequate padding around them. But every time I see that, I think those guys should get a discount, at a minimum. And I think, that would make it a little more palatable. But I don't want to pay good money for something that's banged up. And I would also say that I don't know if you saw the unboxing yesterday, but the razor company, when you order a soap from the razor company, they'll send your tub, but they put it in a little plastic bag. So when it's in the packaging, it's not banging around on other things and the label getting scratched up and scuffed up. To me, I really like that level of service that they're providing in taking care to make sure the product arrives as the artisan intends. Because I don't think any artisan or manufacturer intends for their product to come looking to you beat up, banged up. I don't think it sets a good first impression.
I agree with you there, especially for somebody like myself. All my shave gear is out to where it could be seen. My soaps are nice and stacked up on shelving and all that good stuff. I want the packaging to look good. And if it's real beat up, it's an eyesore. I don't like having it around. And I'm likely not to even keep it. Even if I like the soap, it's just again, it's on display in my restroom. I want it to look nice. So packaging does bother me if it's wrong. We get I'm with you on the YouTube channel that I get some people that comment, "Oh, well, you're not shaving with the packaging."
Hmm.
No, I'm not, but I am
Fair point.
paying for the packaging, so I expect it to look a certain way.
Good.
It's just that simple.
So we saw Frank popped in from Strike Gold Shaves. And again, thank you, Frank, for the hand-tied knot giveaway. He is giving one of these away tonight. And what will happen is you'll send your handle, and Frank will drop it in for you. And we'll get to that in a little bit because it's on our list of things to discuss. The next item I had a couple of weeks ago, or I don't know if it was last week or the week before, the clown fruit thing. We were having a lot of fun with Junior because Junior was the self-professed clown fruit king, meaning he loves that soap more than anybody, or at least he was putting a lot of effort out there showing his love for the soap. And so
Yep.
I was having fun with Junior and declared myself the clown fruit king and was making videos just to make Junior nervous. And so I made a couple of sort of parody or flippant videos, and some people did not like that. And they said, look at the old guy beating up on the new guy and things like that. And in those videos, I mentioned, like, if you got towards the mid to end, was I'm joking, like it was never serious. But I find that a lot of times people will key in on what they think is going on or whatever their narrative is. So they'll come to watch your content with a narrative in mind, and they're looking for their narrative to be reinforced. Like they want you to be an old salty guy or whatever. And so they see just enough to confirm what they think is the case, and then they run with it. And I'm like, you didn't watch the video. Like oftentimes I'm finding out that people are making videos where they're airing topics, but people don't watch to hear them out. And then they just run with their narrative. And I think that's very dangerous, just to jump to a conclusion without hearing someone out. Your thoughts?
It's a shame because that type of behavior and those type of actions and habits that carries over to like the real world stuff. We see it all the time in
Hmm.
political headlines. People just look for certain buzzwords and formulate an opinion on that without context. If anybody would have watched your videos or pay attention to what you're saying throughout these last 6 months, you're really good friends with Junior.
Hmm.
You got we're a pretty close bunch. Me, you, him, Magic Mike. We talk every day.
Right.
If anybody would just pay attention and just hear you out, you know that it was just a big old fun and games, fucking around, poking at Junior because Junior loves the attention. He's an attention whore. So not only are you just having fun with him, but you're giving him the attention that he fucking craves and loves. So it's like it's just such a dumb overreaction.
True, true. And Junior is a fun guy, and he likes to
That's
be
right,
in
Dave
there.
Cali.
He likes to be in there mixing it up with people, and so we have fun. The main thing for me whenever I do content is always to have fun. I have opinions on things, but typically I don't let my opinions or disagreements with people become a source of lifelong agony or deep despair or anything like that. A lot of people disagree, and I don't have to agree with all your opinions to be friends. It's really difficult for me because people get so hung up on gear and entrenched in their beliefs that they really get bitter and upset. And it's just like, hey, man, use whatever works and enjoy it. I will make my points. You can make yours, but we don't have to dislike each other because we have a different point of view. And I think that could be said across everything, politics, life. People just seemingly can't disagree while remaining agreeable. And I think that's really unfortunate. Oh, so you're on the sippy cup there.
Oh, dude, it's just fantastic. Dude, I'm telling you, that beer is great, and that damn hydro flask will keep it cold forever. So I'm like, I'm in heaven right here. Oh, DK, I think you showed up a little late, brother. But here's today's beer. DK is a huge fan of this brewery, and yeah, so just show him a little love right there.
You know what you have to say when you say DK? Yakima, the hop capital of the world. Like if you watch any of the videos, like he's all on that hop capital of the world. And this is the point where I offend DK with a very basic beer, and it is Yingling. And so he's going to be very offended and triggered, but that's
What
okay.
is that? I've never even heard of that beer.
Yingling, I think it's out of Pennsylvania, just a regular beer. Anyway, it's very basic. I believe they're out of Pennsylvania. It's an old beer company, but it's basic. And you know
Okay.
me, I'm kind of basic in a lot of ways, so I don't mind. I'm not a showy type of guy who needs to make up for, all sorts of things through products. I'm very secure. Anyway, let's move on. Something I saw in a live video the other day was an artisan, and it was Douglas. So, because I would talk with Douglas about this all day, and Douglas would argue with me up and down on this. Um, Artisans have a lot of passion about their scents and the way that they want their scents to be presented, or they know what notes, for example, they put in scents, right? And so they put a lot of passion into that, a lot of effort, and they really want you to get what they're trying to present to you. The problem is everybody's nose is different. And so you might put these particular notes in a soap, and I may not get that at all. And an example that I give, and I know you've heard this already because we've talked about it, is there are genetic abilities for people to detect certain things that other people can't detect. Asparagus pea, look it up, please, folks. Google it if you don't believe me. It's like 40% of the people, after they eat asparagus, 20 minutes later, if you urinate, you'll get a very, very musky odor coming from the urine, but only like 40% of the people have that genetic ability to detect it. And the reason I bring this up is it shows that we don't all smell the same things. Notes aren't presented in the same way. So what I try to do, if I can, is to describe a scent in a relatable way. So for example, when I talked about clown fruit, I'm like, it reminds me of root beer because people know what root beer smells like. They don't necessarily know what elderberry and all these things mixed together smells like. And sometimes when you mix things together, they don't present themselves in the way that you would think. I can't tell you the number of soaps that I've gotten based on the notes thinking I would like them and I didn't like them and vice versa. And so I know the artisans put passion into those scents, but there's no guarantee. Artisans, please listen to me. There's no guarantee when you create a scent that I'm going to get what you're trying to present to me. It's just, there are no guarantees. So please allow us to go with our nose and describe it, as we see it, because my experience is not the same as yours necessarily. It's just like taste. You taste certain things that I may not taste and so on. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a big misstep for artisans to be so uptight about their scents. Their main goal when they're creating a scent, I believe, is connecting with their customers, having their customers correlate that scent with a happy memory. I think that is some of the most powerful selling tools. If I smell something and it brings me back to a great childhood memory, I'm going to love that scent probably that much more. And for me, I got beyond root beer. I got specifically those candy bottle caps, which I used to
I
love
know what you're
getting
talking
those
about. Yeah.
in piñatas. I used to
Yeah.
love in piñatas when they had those bottle cap candies. So it didn't for me. It didn't smell like the root beer soda. It smelled like the root beer bottle caps, and I loved them.
Mm.
So that really was an exciting kind of little sensation to smell that. On top of that, I was able to pick up additionally the anise a little bit more, or as Nate likes to
What
say,
did you
anus.
say?
The anus. I was able to smell the anus. Oh God,
Oh,
that's
no,
gonna be
let's
bad
not
if
do that.
somebody just cuts out the anise, which I really enjoy much more now because I connect that with food. I connect that with like pho, the Vietnamese soup. I love the taste of anise inside that soup. So I can smell that. That's another connection that I'm making. Who gives a fuck what elderberry smells like? Who cares that I can't distinguish it as absent? Those are two things that I correlated with my regular everyday life that I enjoy.
I
And
think
it makes me want to use it more.
I think their perspective is they work so hard to create this thing. And in art, even if you look at a painting, what I get and you get might be different. And it's the same thing with these scents. We're not always going to get the same thing. So I just hope that the artisans won't be offended if we simplify it, because when you tell me this is like walking along the Mediterranean Sea or something like that in your description, that means nothing to me. I haven't had that experience, but I can tell you what root beer smells like or something relatable. And that's why people describe things that way, is to make it relatable. Like, here's sort of where we are. And so, by the way, Mr. 700 in 1 month is here, Ken Klitschko. So again, we
There we go.
congratulated Ken. I hope artisans will just understand nobody's trying to cheapen the product or in any way offend it by saying it smells like a lemon cookie or root beer or a pine tree or something. It's just something that people can readily relate to. And some people are better than others at describing scents too. So you have to keep that in mind, I think.
And like you said, I think that's the big thing you have to keep in mind. Some notes are not going to come off to everybody. He was surprised because I messaged him when Diver Down released. And I'm like, I really enjoy the lavender note that I pick up in Diver Down. And he's like, there's so little of it in there. I didn't think anybody would pick up on it. For whatever reason, my nose was sensitive to it. I picked it up, and I really love that about the Diver Down scent.
Right.
So you just never know what's going to hit for people.
That's true. That's true. Um, the next topic, synthetic brushes. Now, I know this is a thing that's not your favorite thing, but we saw Paladin come out with their first sort of batches of synthetic brushes. And I want to say this to brush makers, especially the big ones like Paladin. Please, before you put these brushes out, put them in the hands of people who have been using the synthetic brushes for a long time. Because it appears that Paladin did exactly what Simpsons did 6 years ago, which, according to the people who used them, like Ken, the loft was set low and it did not splay well. One of the ways you can kill a synthetic brush is to prevent it from splaying well. It just is not enjoyable to use if you don't allow the knot to splay. It doesn't need to be floppy, but if you set a synthetic knot too low and it doesn't splay, people will not enjoy it in the same way that 6 years ago, people did not enjoy the Simpsons Chubby 2 synthetic when they first came out. Now, since then, Simpson has fixed that and made their knots to where they splay better. But Paladin came out of the gate, they're set too low. And I saw a lot of comments this week where people are going, I just don't like it. It doesn't splay well. It is exact same thing that Simpson did. If they would have simply put them in the hands of primarily synthetic users who use them all the time, they probably would have gotten that feedback. Now, I don't know how much they tested them, but I know had they sent one to me, I can tell you right now, I would have said, this is Simpson's Chubby 2 all over. This will not go over well. I mean, send it to any synthetic user who does it a lot, and you'll get this feedback. I don't know, maybe they did, and maybe the problem is sometimes when they send things to people, people tell them what they want to hear. That is not useful feedback if you're testing something, because if you're so happy to have it that you gloss over it and you go, this is great, and then when it goes to the public, it's bad, it's not a good look. And And then subsequent to that, I saw some threads where people were airing criticism in a forum, and Paladin stepped in and said, "This is not the place to air this." And I thought, wow, Ken Klitschko actually showed me that, and I said, they're not off to a good start, I don't think, with synthetics. Your thoughts?
Well, for one, I am a man that is ahead of his time because I actually went through this same rant last week that it costs so little. It costs so little for these companies to send out beta testing and send it out to legitimate people. You know who are yes men. You could look at people's posts and see how they kiss ass. Send it to real legitimate people that will give you honest feedback. Even myself, as somebody that doesn't like synthetics, I can at least tell you some of the major pitfalls that some of those synthetic brushes have. But I also, in conversations that me and you have behind the scenes, I've told you synthetics work well. I just don't like the
Right.
face feel on them because they feel synthetic, and that's just not something I desire. But it's just so easy to get answers from legitimate people, and it's such a shame. And this is the reason why I like to support companies that are active in the community, not just posting their advertisements and stuff. Paladin, I have no idea who's in charge of Paladin. I have no idea how many people that work there. I don't know if they even shave their damn selves. I know nothing about them. So that tells me that they don't even consider getting feedback from people. I've never received a fucking DM from anybody from Paladin asking any questions, and I don't believe you have either. And I just think that's why I don't support companies that don't really engulf themselves with the community, dude, because they don't really know what we want. They think they hear things here, little things here and there, but they don't really know what's going on.
Right. It's just one of those things where it's unfortunate because this mistake was made 5, 6 years ago. The exact
Hmm.
same thing by another brush maker. And it's one of those things where it could have been avoided. Now, they may have had testers, but I can tell you the one thing that could kill a synthetic knot is if you set the loft too low and it doesn't splay. It becomes just absolutely not enjoyable to use. And it's just one of those things where, it's unfortunate. And I hope they will correct it and set that higher, and then perhaps people will enjoy them. And I would also knock down that price because let's be honest, we all know the synthetic knots don't cost very much. They're very, very inexpensive, and you can't really charge, a ton of money for a synthetic these days. Unlike the Badger, you can charge a little more. It is animal hair, it's a little harder to acquire. But synthetics just aren't expensive to come by, and everybody knows this. And so, I would keep that price down as well if it's a synthetic knot, especially.
And that's another reason why there's just no excuse for you to have a bad knot in your brush. I've seen the brush, and the loft didn't look much shorter than that of the Trafalgar, but it still wouldn't splay.
Mhm. Oh, you had the Trafalgar?
No, but I was looking at Ken's video when he used the Trafalgar
Oh,
and that brush, and they look similar length in terms of loft.
hmm,
It could just be a shitty knot too,
could be.
and that's another thing. There's just no excuse to do nowadays because there's so many good synthetic knots out there. You go to AP Shave Co., they have 5 good synthetic knots that
Yeah,
splay easily. So
yeah.
there's just no whatever their problem is, whether it's set too low or it's just a shitty knot. There's no excuse for that no more.
Well, let me tell
Since
you
it,
what the problem is.
no what?
And hello, Langley City. When you try to make a synthetic knot like a Badger, it's bad news. A synthetic is its own thing. Badger is its own thing. Horsehair is its own thing. And boar is its own thing. Allow those different types of knots to be themselves. There's no need to try to make a synthetic. You can make it look like Badger if you want to, if you want to give it a classic look. Don't try to make it feel like a Badger. And I think sometimes they try to make it feel like Badger and it fails. Allow a synthetic to be a synthetic. Get a Badger if you want a Badger. They're all good and they all have their virtues. Every single type of brush has its fans. Don't make a synthetic trying to feel like Badger. That's where I think a lot of times they err, is they're like, I want this to feel like Badger, and it's not. And I don't think it will ever feel like Badger, or at least not with the synthetic fiber that's out there today. It just doesn't. And if you want Badger, get a Badger. That's what I would say to people. Thoughts?
Yeah, I just don't think, and I don't even understand the people that try to do that try to make a synthetic be a Badger. Like, why? There's so many Badger options out there. Why would you want a synthetic that acts like a Badger? It doesn't even make sense to me. It is dumb. And for people that are shopping for something like that, don't do it. If you want a synthetic, get a good, tried and true synthetic. Don't get something that's trying to be what it's not. And same thing with Badger. Get yourself a good, solid ass Badger that has well known Badger qualities to it, man.
Yeah. Mel or BBS Live has been mentioning that the Trafalgar T3, that is a good brush. It's $25. It has backbone. It splays well. That is a very good choice for people who want a little, the ability to scrub if you want to, or dig in while still splaying. They got it right with the Trafalgar and the Omega Evo, which is twice as expensive. The handle's arguably nicer, but those are two very good options. And all the AP Shapeco stuff. It's not hard to get a decent synthetic knot that will splay. All right, we'll move on to something you coined recently. And this is one of those times where David Gonzalez turns out to be a great oracle of wet shaving, because last week we were talking, or actually it was in one of your videos, and you said that the shaving community often has battered shaver syndrome. You care to elaborate on that a little bit?
It's pretty much a form of Stockholm syndrome. I think it's a subset. I think it's an official term now that's in psychological journals all over the country. And it's pretty much the worse that an artisan treats us, the more we want their stuff. It's just a sick disease. The more expensive it is, the less quantity they make, the less customer service they give us, the less options they give us. We just want to fucking jump their bones. We just can't help ourselves, dude. It's just a fucking sickening disease. We have a real man worship problem in the community, and that it's just weird to me, dude. It's just weird that we give people money and they don't seem to. They pretty much say, "Here, this is what we got. Take it or leave it, or fuck off." And it's just weird to me, dude. It's a bizarre situation that we have in our hobby.
Yeah, it is weird that sometimes the companies that produce things that are very expensive and hard to get, and sometimes they don't treat the customers particularly well. Like they put them out there for targeting, and people want it more as a result. And it's similar in the past to domestic violence, and in no way am I making fun or light of domestic violence. I just want to be clear. But what would happen is a man and wife would be in an argument, and then the police would come, and the wife would say, "I love him, don't take him away," battered wife syndrome. And so what you're saying is a lot of times some of these, and I don't think there are a lot of companies that do this really, but some of them don't appear to have a lot, sometimes respect the customers, and then it's like people want them even more, and they'll go to war for them. Like it's incredible. And I'm like, I don't get it. And it makes me really not want to do business with some of these companies. Now, we all have standards and line places where we will draw the line, but I think battered shaver syndrome is a real thing. Like with people, they want what they can't get, or what is too expensive, or they totally discount really bad behavior, and just like I want the stuff. It's that simple, and the more, probably the thing that's most interesting is when they defend bad behavior. Like they will defend, and I'm like, wow, that blows my mind. Any more thoughts on that?
We just, at least here in America, the majority of our watchers are going to be American shavers or Canadian. We're so celebrity driven. We're raised so long, and it's rammed down our throats that hey, look at these celebrities. You want to strive to be them. We look at some of these artisans like they're celebrities, and people will defend them to the death, and it's just weird. Again, that is not something that's unique to shaving. We do it to all kinds of shit. You see it when Joe Biden says something stupid, or Trump when he says something regularly fucking stupid. People will defend the oddest things as if that's like their godfather that said it. Like, no, you don't know him. He doesn't feed your children. He says something wrong, just admit it. But we won't do it because we love famous things and people, and we love people that are popular and all that stuff.
So sort of along these lines. And by the way, if you all have any questions, go ahead and send them through and we'll try to get to them if time permits. I have been accused of being too easy on Ariana and Evans and Pete, and also being too hard at the same time. Like, so that lets me know I'm probably doing it right, because half of the people are like, you are way too easy on Pete, you let him by with everything. And then half of the people are like, you are so hard on Pete, you're always complaining about Pete, so on and so forth. So I saw something this week in one of the groups that really I was taken aback by. And it was one of those things where Pete made a post in one of the groups and he was saying, there's been a couple of videos out talking about customer service. And he was basically agreeing by saying, yes, I've had some problems in those areas. It has been my Achilles heel, not getting things out fast enough, so on and so forth. He was basically saying, yes, these are things I'm going to work on in my new facility. And all of the comments below it, they were all basically saying, there's no problem. People should be patient. Those people suck. There was one guy that was even, he called people making videos losers and bench setters. And it was like, so Pete starts out by announcing, hey, there's been some videos. This is legit. This is legitimate criticism. And then these people step in. There's an entire thread of just people going, there's no problem. People need to be impatient. It's because of the Rona. It's because of the post office. You're trying the best you can. You're number one. And I'm thinking, wow, no one even listened to what he said to begin with, which is, this has been a problem for us. And we're, oh, I just lost my lights. Alexa, turn the lights on. Anyway, sorry about that.
You're such a douchebag when you do that.
Yeah. Anyway, it was just an incredible thread. And it's just like, I realized that brand zealotry exists on all platforms. People used to say it about Reddit, all right? I've seen it this week on Facebook, whereas they just come in and go, they weren't even aware of the complaints, most of the people. It was clear they had not saw those videos. They had not seen those videos. And they basically called those people whiners and complainers. And every comment was the same, like, there's no problem. You're number one. It's the post office. We know you're having trouble. And I understand that you want to support the artisan. I get that. I do too, believe me. But it really blew my mind that there was no one in there that said, you know, thanks for acknowledging this. I'm looking forward to your improvements. It was like, screw those people. They're whiners. They're complainers. And I don't know. I'm flabbergasted that people are so entrenched and connected to these brands that they seemingly have no objectivity, that they're just, I love this A&E and I don't care what happens, I'm going to love it. I don't think that's healthy feedback for the artisan personally. I don't think it's healthy at all. Your thoughts?
Well, dude, the thing that terrifies me more is these same people are raising children. And these are the type of children that are going to be out in the world one day. We shouldn't be patting people on the back for doing their bare minimum responsibility. If you buy something, they're supposed to send it out. That's just normal, no shit. But sending it in a timely manner, when there's companies that we know have high volume, like the Maggards, like Phoenix Shaving, like the Razor Company that is gaining popularity by the day. Mm-hmm. They're sending stuff out next day. Now, do I expect next day service from absolutely everybody? No, that's unreasonable because like Peter has admitted, hey, we're small. Mm-hmm. We got family working for us. It doesn't go as quickly as I'd like it to, but we're going to try to get better. Let the man get better. Don't pat him in the back just because he gets it out eventually. Peter wants to be better.
Yeah.
The name of his base is Kaizen, which is what? Always improving. Let him continue to get better. But people saying that there's no problem, everything's fine, keep doing what you're doing. Nobody gets better with that. Compliments don't make you better. Compliments make you satisfied, make you think that everything's good. Criticism is good to help push you to that next level. And I believe Peter's going to get there, even though he has some ridiculous fucking fanboys. And we see what a lot of artisans, you see the PAA fucking guys.
Yeah, sure.
You see the Declaration guys. There's a bunch of those type of people. but we should hold people accountable. And why not push people to be the best version of themselves? Not everybody can be Maggard's fast, but why not be the best version of you and the best version of your company, as opposed to, I'll get it when I get it. I got 50 soaps already. Why not?
The,
That's
the,
dumb.
the thing that I was taken aback by was that nobody considered in that thread that there had actually been some issues. Because if you talk to people, there have been some legitimate issues. People's orders that never got fulfilled initially, he does make it right. Like, I know he goes back and makes it right. So I'm not being critical. I'm just saying they totally discounted the possibility that there were issues. And my mind was just like, I was like, holy cow. And so people have often criticized folks on Reddit for being brand zealots. And what I realize now, and I think I've realized this for some time, is it is not just Reddit. It's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's Instagram. These artisans have these huge followings, and basically, in the eyes of some, they can do no wrong no matter what they do. They can have bad behavior, it will be defended. They can do any number of things, and basically, they will be given a pass. And what I would like to see people do is just to try to remain objective. Now, on the other hand, I do understand you need to have reasonable expectations. I get that entirely. But these people all assumed that the complaints were coming from people who only had, like they ordered it on Monday and they didn't get it by Thursday and they were complaining. This was not the case. These were people who had legitimate issues that they were airing. But in the thread, it was just like, there's no problem. Everything is good. You're number one. That feedback is not helpful.
No, the best one. Oh my God, this guy was such a big, what a punk. He actually got on that thread and said, "Oh my God, I'm sorry that I messaged you about my order not being shipped." I'm like, dude, you're apologizing because he hasn't sent your shit out yet? Again, I'm all for being patient. Been a few days, cool. But don't apologize to somebody for not sending your shit out.
You know what happened there was he's seeing all these people and they're bashing like anybody who complained. And then he was like, well, I don't want to get bashed. So he literally said, I'm sorry, Pete, for emailing you about my outstanding orders. And I'm like, once again, mind explosion. I'm like, why are you apologizing? You're the customer. You're paying. It's okay to inquire about the order. And he was swept up in it because everybody was like, those people are whiners. And I'm like, holy cow. It really opened my eyes in a way that they have not entirely. I've always been aware of this, but when I saw it here, I was like, oh my goodness. Now I really see what's going on here is that folks just don't have objectivity. And, you know, it's one of those things where, look, I've broken bread with Pete. I like Pete personally. I hope for his success, but I'm never just going to sugarcoat everything. And I get criticism on both sides. People go, you're too hard on Pete. And the other side goes, you're too easy on Pete. So again, I think I'm probably somewhere in the middle, which is good, but
and I'm in the same boat as you. Full disclosure, me and Pete are very close. He's one of the guys that he's family. If he wants to ever stay in my home, he's welcome to my house.
Yeah.
Like I love Pete. We're really good friends. But with that being said, he also knows that I won't lie for him. I'm not going to blow smoke up his ass. I give him legitimate opinions. He'll agree with me. He'll fight back with me on some stuff, and that's just what he's going to be. It is. I'm not going to be friends with somebody that I can't disagree with because then that's just weird and uncomfortable. And again, I'm not in some kind of weird man worship relationship. We have to be able to have opposing opinions and still be cool with each other after the fact. Me and Peter, we've always been straight. He'll be like, man, shut up, you fucking dick, when I tell him some shit, but it's all in good fun, man. Like, it's just a good time.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where customer service to me is measurable. You know how quickly you get an item, you know what the communication is like, and it's important. And I think, as Marion says here, it's one of those things that artisans and companies can really distinguish themselves with is being Johnny on the spot with customer service. And it's just a matter of grinding. And so personally, my feelings are, I believe Pete, once he gets his new setup, I believe it's going to get much better. You know, I feel like it's going to get there. But when he says he has a problem and everybody comes in and just goes, no problem, no problem. You're number one. Let me get that K2. And I'm like, Did you read the thread, folks? Like, I don't know. Triggered. It's just crazy. Okay. Let's so I'm sure Frank has been hanging around, or maybe he's still there. This is the Strike Gold Shave hand-tied badger knot. Now, we've had one of these up for giveaway, and Frank dropped this in a Craving Shaving handle. I call it Red Planet because it kind of looks like Mars landscape there. I've used this, I think, 4 or 5 times in the last week, and I'm surprised by it. You know I'm not a badger guy. This one does surprise me. It's very dense. It is very soft. When it's wet, it feels a lot like a synthetic. It's only dropped 2 hairs, which for me is a very good thing because it really gets on my nerves when they shed. I have been really impressed by this knot. Now, Frank was good enough to offer to give one of these knots away, and what we did was we asked folks to go on the YouTube video that I initially made with this video and come up with names, because this knot does not have a name yet. So I asked you to go look, and I looked, and we came up with just some of the ones we liked, and then we're going to sort of read them off and then see how people feel about them. Go ahead and give me some of the names that you picked out for this knot.
Well, first off, this is one of my personal favorites. Before I started looking through the comments, this is one of my picks that I told you about. But I love the fact that it's Strike Gold Shave, and I put the Gold Rush knot. I did put the person that I found first to put that aside for myself.
Was it Polaris?
Yes, Polaris 555. That's the one.
I have that one on my list as well. So consider that one, folks. What's your next one?
Gold Rush. I just think it fits and it's great. I also like the Patriot knot.
Patriot knot. I did not have that one.
I like the Executive, and I think the Executive allowed for, and he mentioned, and the person that I wrote down there put this, he even mentioned that it really allows for the Executive 1, 2, 3 for the batch number, which I think is really cool. So the Executive I really liked.
I got that one too.
There, look at that. And then this one was kind of funny to me, but I still thought it worked. The First Lady.
Did not have that one. Okay.
So those are the 4 that I picked out.
So I picked, I think, 6. Ken Klitschko, I can't speak, had Badger in Chief. Kind of like that, and it goes along with the presidential theme. Traditional Shaver had the 49er knot, which kind of goes that Strike Gold Shave 49er. I thought that was pretty cool. Araberto had Executive 1. That I like too.
Just so you know, it's like saying Heriberto. The H is more silent. Heriberto.
Okay. Gotcha. Polaris had the Gold Rush knot, which we both had. El Chingon had Strike Gold knot, which also worked. I like that as well. And there was another guy, N164, had Gelta Forest, like Gelta Forest, which I thought was pretty cool too. So, folks in the group, what are your preferences? Because we agreed on Executive 1 and Gold Rush knot. But what do you like? I'm interested to know, because we have to select, and I'm also interested to hear what Frank likes out of those choices. So we've given 10 choices there. And again, Badger in Chief, 49er knot, Executive 1, 2, 3, and so on, Gold Rush knot, Straight Gold knot, Gelta Force, and what did you have?
I had that differ from yours. I have the First Lady, and I don't know if you said the Patriot, but yeah, First Lady and Patriot, Executive, and Gold Rush.
And this is tough because I don't really know. I'm seeing some executives in here. Yeah,
the executives look like a
Badger and Queef. so I'm seeing some Badger in Chief and Executive. Wow, hey, Executive I think is.
I think we may have to ignore Seth because he bailed out in our group chat on Thursday.
Oh yeah,
and was with a couple other guys. He totally just fucking left us. Never joined our group chat again, and was just having a good old time.
Frank likes Gold Rush too, and so ultimately, folks, just to let you know, Uh-oh, looks like I lost David there for a minute. So we'll continue to press
You
on.
see me? I'm still
Yeah,
here.
I got you.
Hello?
I got you. Frank likes Gold Rush. So Frank is going to eventually pick whatever he wants. So I'm not saying what we consider here is going to be the selection. We will pick somebody that will be the knot will be given to. Frank will make his own choice on what he wants to call his knot.
Hey, thanks for coming by, Steve. I'm gonna watch that Laker game after this ends. Man, one of my boys that I worked with for quite a few years popped in. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate you, bro.
So it looks like executive was pretty. I want to say that executive, because the batches, executive 1, executive 2, executive 3, and executive was anytime a president's on a civilian plane, it's called executive, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, okay. Well, Strike Gold does say whatever we pick, he's using. So it's going to be either Gold Rush or Executive 1. So, folks, chime in. Which do you prefer? Gold
Hey
Rush?
guys, only put executive or gold rush down below,
Yes.
guys. Whatever you guys choose. The one that gets more popping, that's what we're gonna probably pick. Stop
Yep.
all the other comments. Don't talk about the fucking Lakers. The Lakers are gonna win it. Get over it. It's so fucking sad for you. We're gonna be the champions this year. But comment below, gold rush or executive, so we could pick the winner of this thing, baby.
We got a Gold Rush, Executive, Lakers Nation, Art, Bad, Executive, 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 Gold Rush, Executive, Executive. I think executive. I mean,
So I think it's again, even though I did like the gold rush because that's the one that
yeah,
I
I
had
like Gold
initially
Rush
got.
too.
But you know, the people have spoken. Look at Salcedo said gold rush. DK totally useless.
Executive.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it's safe to say at this point, executive is going to be, and I hope Frank doesn't mind executive, because that seems to be the yeah, executive. I think is ahead. I think it's pretty. Don't you agree? You still there, David? What'd you
Close
say?
for me, so I don't know.
Say again, David. Did you get a call?
No.
Okay, now I can hear you. Get some echo though for some reason. I think it's executive. Are you hearing? Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, now I can hear you. You're good. You're good. Yeah, I think executive. So it looks like it's going to be Mr. Maya will be the winner. So we'll get in touch with. Now you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
Can
you were
you see
lagging
me?
a little bit. Okay, yeah, you're good. So looks like executive, but Lord Shady is saying Gold Rush has more. I don't know. I mean, we might have to tabulate. He says Gold Rush has more, but I thought I saw more executive.
I'm gonna scroll through real quick. I don't have a damn pen. God damn it.
But we want to thank, anyway, while you're looking around, I want to thank Frank for letting me try the knot. Honestly, I'm very impressed with it. I did not expect to be. Frank really took a risk in sending this knot for me to try because I'm not a badger guy. I am very pleasantly surprised because it's very soft. It does not irritate me in any way. And that says a lot about me and badger because a lot of times it does irritate me. So yeah, it sounds like Gold Rush has more. Okay, maybe it's Gold Rush. It seems like the people are saying, but they're arguing. They're going, back and forth. So maybe we should leave it up to Frank to decide.
For me, it looks like there's more executive, but I think since we have Frank on here, I think Frank, you choose between executive and gold rush because they are close enough. I do believe there's
Yep.
more executive,
And
but
it's his
there are a
company.
good amount of people that like the gold rush one, including myself.
So Frank, if you're still here, chime in. Your vote will be the one that sends it one way or the other. and we'll go along with whatever Frank says if he's still here. Stop commenting so David can count.
Dude, every time I was trying to scroll upwards, somebody would comment and it put me back down to the bottom. So that was totally fucking me up.
Okay, Frank likes executive, I think. So Mr. Maya wins. Okay, we'll move on. Thank you, Frank. And we will get you his information.
I'm buddies with Heriberto Maya. He actually sent me the Blackland Blackbird to try, so I'll message him and I'll get his information to you, Frank.
Okay, well, thank you, really appreciate it. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about was I got this razor, which is according to Fine, the world's finest razor for evaluation. And one of the things I want to mention is for the folks who believe that there's no risk in sending evaluation products and people are just going to rubber stamp it. I used this twice and I said twice, I would not buy this razor with my own money. At $165, there are just better options. The Carve is a better option. The Rockwell 6S is a better option. The Razor Rock stainless razors, in my opinion, are better options. The Envoy, the Rex Envoy is a better option. This is a mild razor, and I know subsequent to some of the videos coming out, they told people to use feather blades. I had used a feather blade the first time I used this razor, and it will provide for a good shave. And if you're looking for a very mild razor, it's a fine razor in that regard, being very, very mild. But it's $165. It's made in China. It didn't have good packaging. And it's just one of those things where the goal when I evaluate a product is to determine whether or not I would spend my own money. And I would not spend my own money for this razor. I think it's too expensive, and I would choose the options that I mentioned earlier. And the reason I'm mentioning this is when companies like Strike Gold send something for evaluation, it is at a risk to the company, because I'm not going to tell you I would buy something I will not buy. And in the case of this razor, it is up for giveaway, fortunately, so you'll have to find out how to enter that giveaway. It's just not one that I would buy. So I appreciate Fine for sending it, but I'm always going to call it like I see it. This is not a razor I would purchase. It's just that simple. And so when these companies send out these things, it's not an advertisement. There's risk involved. And so I just want to thank the people who are willing to take that risk. It certainly helps us, but you know, I always make sure that I mention there can't be an obligation for me to like it. There can't be an obligation for me to endorse it. The only obligation I have is to try to be fair, and I will do that. But I'm not going to rubber stamp something that I wouldn't buy with my own money. Thoughts?
For the most part, I'm with you, man. I've said it in my videos that I'll never ask for anything free. If a company wants to submit something, I will accept anything free with that condition that I get to say whatever the hell I want. And as long as they agree with that, I respect them for the balls that they have. If I do something that I do for companies that submit something for review, if I have an unfavorable review of it, I do give them a heads up, and I will at least give them that courtesy of either posting it or not posting it. I'll give them the option. Like, hey, listen, I didn't like this. Do you want me to post this video or not? And surprisingly enough, most companies, I think actually all companies, I don't think I've ever had a company tell me, no, don't post it because it doesn't sound good. I do give them that option, you know. It's, again, I won't lie for them, but I also won't hurt their branding either.
Right.
For submitting something. So that's something I do give them a little bit of a, you know, a benefit for sending me something, but I won't lie for them.
So Junior asked a question that I really cannot answer. What are the benefits of a hand-tied knot? Honestly, I don't know. I've used hand-tied knots in the past. This is a very good hand-tied knot for me, someone who doesn't use Badger. I don't know what the advantages are. If you know, you can tell them, but I just can't answer it.
Ideally, and this is me being an optimist, you would hope that the person here in America that is assembling said knot is really sorting the hair, is legitimately picking the best hair out of the bunch that's coming with them. Because if they're just sticking all the hair that was sent to them into it, you might as well buy a Chinese knot. It just really is that simple. But you hope for that they're sorting the hair, picking the best hair out of the bunch, discarding anything that's undesirable, rough hairs, hairs that are discolored, that don't come, and you're getting extra density. So you're getting top quality soft tips, and you're getting that extra density. So you get the dense feel of a knot that's set lower, but you get that that fluffy lushness of something that's set a bit higher. That's what you're hoping for in a hand tied knot. Now, whether you get that or not, I don't know. That's going to depend on the person assembling it. The only hand tied knot I've ever used is a Declarations Grooming. Scott did a fantastic job with that knot. But, you know, that's just the type of stuff that you hope for when you're getting a hand tied knot.
Excellent. And I know when I talked to Frank, he talked about he takes the hairs, he does condition them, clean them, and do various things. And if they're doing what you're suggesting, then that certainly accounts for the extra expense, because that's going to be a pretty time-consuming thing to do. So I think you can understand probably going through all that why it's probably they're more expensive than just a regular knot. All right, let's move to really quickly. I'm going to give you a pick of the last couple of weeks, and this is one of these picks that people are going to be triggered by, but I'm sorry, I can't help it. The conch. I used the conch yesterday. I want to say it made a good lather. It was creamy. It was slick. It's like $2.90 or $3.90. Really, it left me wanting for nothing, and I was surprised by how good the lather was. And it sort of brings me back every time I use an inexpensive product or a value product. Like, here's a good value product, 345 Soap Company. This is 5.8 ounces, comes for about $13 and something. When I use something like this, and the lather is good, and mechanically it provides everything that I need in a shave, I'm very happy about that. And this one in particular, I was surprised. It's been reformulated, but it was surprising how good the lather was. And it made me realize that, once again, I think we say this often, that sometimes we just overdo it on what is required to get a shave. Now, I'm not talking about post-shave and all that kind of stuff, which I think you can certainly consider, but this was very good for me, and it doesn't cost much. You have anything that you've been enjoying a lot?
Well, I have something, but on the totally different end of the spectrum. Something that is considered a very high-end item, and I don't value this item because it's expensive. I valued it because it's just something that I've loved for years. I wanted one for probably about 5-6 years, and I finally was able to get my hand on it. And it's this right here.
Yeah, that's nice.
This razor by Joe Edson. Again, I don't get a hard on because it's expensive. I get a hard on for it because it's just beautiful work.
Nice.
The scale shape is fantastic. The hybrid material is great. The blade, the metal is fantastic. You can see the etching, how well done it is. The shape, the design elements. I wanted one of these razors for so long. I say 5-6 years, but it's possible longer. I'm just so thrilled to have it. It is so light for the size. It's maneuverable. I'm just so thrilled to have it, and I'm loving the shaves that I'm getting from it.
Yeah, that's an excellent razor. Congrats. One of the things I also want to mention before we head out is everybody's hearing about the razor company for good reason. Their service has been quite good. They're throwing in extra things like this little barbershop air freshener. This smells good. I already had one of these before that the inspector sent me. I love it. They're doing things that put just that little bit of value. Now, I'm not saying they're going to send one of these in every package, because when I say this and somebody doesn't get one, they're like, well, you must be special. No, but I have talked to several people this week who also got these, who weren't YouTubers or prominent people. I appreciate the extra value. I appreciate you artisans and you companies who are trying your best to be Johnny on the spot with the service. I think that adds value to the products you sell and to your product. Don't skimp on the service. David.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. I love those personal touches. I love speedy service. I just submitted my first order to the razor company on Tuesday or Wednesday.
About 15 seconds, by the way.
I had the damn tracking number within about 5 minutes, and it's due to be here tomorrow because USPS is slow as shit. But they had my shit out quick.
Excellent. Thanks everybody for joining us. I really appreciate it. Until next time, it's your shave, do it your way. And